It's Monday, August 2nd. Coming up live on The View. TV journalism giant Bryant Gumbel's back to man the moderator's chair.
Hold on!
And funny man Mario Cantone's guest co-hosting for an entire day of the hottest topics on TV. From who's in and who's out on American Idol to who's in and who's out of The Slammer to which A-list celeb's daughter said she made a sex tape to kick off her acting career and which big names ended up attending Chelsea's wedding. Plus, Real Housewife of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice is exposing if while she was throwing big bucks around on everything from estates to implants, she had any idea her husband was $11 million in debt. All that and more, coming up live on The View.
People had a nice weekend.
Well, they didn't expect to see two
Dashing men.
dashing.
We were going to have out in drag, but we thought, no.
You could have.
You should have.
It's understudy morning.
Doing that because we
I'm
have the
Bryant
most
Gumbel playing the role of Whoopi and playing the role of Sherry as Mario Cantone.
No, yes, I am. That's right.
Our hair and makeup team could have done that, by the way.
They
are
would
that
have
good.
put the curly wig on.
Boobs, baby.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think I would have loved to have come out as Barbara, too. That would have been fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been good.
You two are swimming today. You've dropped down quite a bit in class. You've got us today. Last time you were here, you had the president. Congratulations.
Oh, that's true. Yes, we did.
Congratulations.
It was fantastic to have him, I have to say. I enjoyed
And this is the third time he came on the show. He loves the show. He loves you
He
bitches.
does.
What
He
is
does.
it? I
He
love
does.
it.
But
I
this
think,
is the first
especially
time.
me, he really likes.
Yeah. He liked you.
No, we actually had a really great
I
conversation.
told you were so in awe of him, I thought you were going to turn into a
Don't
Democrat.
say all, but I mean, we had a good conversation. We had a nice conversation backstage in between segments. We talked really casually and had good.
Were you
fun
attracted
there.
to him?
Not sexually. No. No.
I am.
He's a very attractive
He's
man.
a handsome man.
He's like an athlete, you know. He's beautiful and he's thin
He's a
and
basketball
tall.
player.
And
Yes,
like,
He's very light.
Let's not
Beautiful
objectify
hands.
the man.
Beautiful hands.
This is our president. I refuse to objectify
Yeah,
him.
but so what? Who cares?
You know what? Bush was good looking too. I have to give it to him.
As a young man,
As a
he
young
was.
man, I thought he was very handsome too.
agree.
I mean,
And
look.
objectify this, he gave you good numbers.
He did.
Oh, yeah,
The
wait a
highest
second,
we've had,
baby.
yes.
Highest ever, right?
We had
Yeah.
over 6 million people watching us that day. which
That's
is
pretty
good.
awesome.
I think it turned out to be the most watched episode of The View in history. The View.
I'm so upset.
Was the place crawling with security?
Oh yeah, I said it was like a day at the Ramrod, you know, the gay hangout down in the village. There was like so many men surrounding us. I felt like I was at a gay bar.
Joy, the Ramrod wasn't in the village.
Where was it?
Where was it?
No, I don't know. It was on the east side. I've never been to
You
the
don't
Ramrod.
know. Where was it?
I've never been to the
Oh,
Ramrod.
yeah, right.
I swear to God, I've never been to the Ramrod. Well, one time I took you there, and I used you as bait like Elizabeth Taylor in Suddenly Last Summer.
People actually, what they were taken with the fact that we were sitting next to the president, because I was coming out of the movie theater the other day, and this woman says, "Darling, I have to ask you a question." I said, "Yeah, what is it?" She said, "Well, can you find out where President Obama sends his daughters to camp? I'd like to send my granddaughters
that's
to
not gonna
those
happen, yeah.
to the same camp. Like I'm sitting next to the guy. I don't live with him. I mean, it was just the couch on the View,
Yeah.
not the couch in my apartment."
But even my kids are so impressed with everything. I mean, Taylor and Grace Isaiah doesn't know what's going on, but they were so excited about it. And then we were watching Chelsea on TV today, some recaps of the wedding, and I said, "That's President Clinton's daughter, Chelsea." And Taylor turned to me and said, "President Clinton coming on your show too?" Like he's just so amazed that
so
they're
cute.
coming.
The wedding was a big deal over the weekend. And you know what? She had, for those of you who don't live in New York, Saturday was really like a Chamber of Commerce day. I mean, it was fantastic in this area.
Look how
It
pretty
was
she
beautiful,
looks.
and she looked lovely.
What a
She really
gorgeous
did.
group they are.
Look at that.
That is just majestic. And you know, it's incredible because they chose the photos to release.
Boy, he got older looking, though.
You think? I think he looks better. He's lost weight, and he looks wonderful.
I know. Well,
Well,
he had
how
that
young do
hard.
you want him to stay?
I know. I want him to
I
stay
know.
forever
You
young.
want
I'm
him to
so
be the
in love
stud
with
that he's
him.
always been.
I have
She
to.
looked gorgeous. And I heard she had a gluten-free cake. That, I mean, if I could have just tasted it. That's
Oh, gluten-free.
Are you silly? I'm joking.
Yes, applause. complains at the end of the
Never,
evening.
because it's gluten-free. They're great.
I'm watching this with close eyes. My daughter, Jillian, just recently got engaged. So I'm the father.
How old is she?
She's 27.
Okay.
So I'm the father of the bride next year around this time. They're thinking 11/11/11.
Wow.
She and her fiance.
Gonna have a big wedding?
I don't know.
Right?
Huh?
Armistice.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
But I mean, they're
11th
now
hour.
looking at venues for this and interviewing wedding planners and everything else. And it's like, I'm on pins and needles. I mean, I'm not good at this
But
stuff
you know
at
what's
all.
interesting?
You're gonna
It
get
turned
good.
out,
Either.
it turned out that the only celebs that were there were Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen, who go back to Arkansas
Right.
with Hillary Clinton. So no celebrity.
No
Barbara
Oprah.
Streisand
Well,
was
the
not
rumors
there.
were it was Oprah, Barbara Streisand,
Yes.
Spielberg,
Were they
Tom
invited or
Hanks.
did they not show
No,
up?
probably they were not invited because the Clintons were smart. There was a clean sweep. In other words, no celebs, therefore
No one
nobody
gets
can get insulted.
Yep,
Yeah.
I think that's
Right.
very
Because
It
you
was all
invite
about
one.
Chelsea.
If you invite one, you've got there are like 50 more that click
Imagine
on.
how many people the Clintons would have to
It
invite.
would be
Yeah.
just
Lots.
Yeah.
Do you find it as
unimaginable.
odd as I do that some people are criticizing them for the amount of money they spent on their daughter's wedding?
No. Why should they? Why should anybody criticize
Well, we don't
anybody?
know,
It's
If
not
they have
public
the
money. First of all, we don't know how much it costs.
No,
Secondly,
I
it's not
know.
public money.
Right.
It's embarrassing to tell someone how to spend their money.
Yeah,
But don't you
Absolutely.
think,
Let them
Brian,
give-
that after what that girl went through with that Monica Lewinsky scandal, don't you think that they felt this daughter has to have everything?
No.
That kid was in college during that period, and I think that she must have suffered tremendously in college.
Yeah, but
Kids
with-
teasing her.
Without
the jokes,
that, but without
the jokes
that scandal,
I alone made.
without that scandal, doesn't she deserve a wedding like that? If she's got the
whatever.
money, give her the
And I
wedding.
think-
What
really
she
terrific.
deserves.
This is truly, I think, in terms of, you know, we always look at the royals and their weddings. I mean, this seems to be at that level. And I think that Chelsea seems like an incredible woman. I think any parent does whatever they can to make that day as special as they can. And your limits are so unique to your own family situation monetarily.
The Bushes only spent $100,000 on Jenner's. Are they a little cheap or what?
Unique to your own circumstance, I will
I
say.
think, and I hope I'm attributing this correctly, Gail Collins, columnist from the New York
Yes.
Times, had a great column the other day in which she was talking about Chelsea, and she was talking about the Bush daughters, and she was talking about Amy Carter, and she was saying that absent of politics, whatever you may think about any of these people, whatever you think about Carter or W or Bill Clinton or whatever, you do have to admire the manner in which they raise their children, because
Right.
all of them, somehow or other, throughout all the madness that we go through in our times and all the madness of our political scene,
Right.
the kids wound up
The kids are all right.
Extremely
Yes,
normal.
The kids are all right. The kids are all right.
really-
You know,
And
one
it's
of the
true.
things in that column, I believe it was there, was that Amy Carter did not have Jimmy Carter walk her down the aisle. And that was okay with him. He said, we raised her to be independent, and she decided she wanted to walk either alone or with maybe the groom. I don't know what she did. But he was not taking her down the aisle. So
Interesting. It is
and the
interesting.
Clintons bragged that their child is also an independent and she's going to pick her own guests, etc. I think they raise independent children.
Sure. And even when President Obama was here, I remember in the break, I remember we were talking to him about the girls, and I asked him, I said, do you, how is it having young children in the White House? He actually said it was the best age to have them there, just in terms of how they're influenced with everything going on in the country and the world. But I think it's a unique circumstance, and to be able to come out and know that your children can think the way that they do and
On
feel
their own.
fine to
And
do it.
you
despite
have to
all the
raise
let me
pressure.
raise my cup to the Bush girls, because we made a lot of jokes about them when they were in their drinking days, and they have redeemed themselves. I mean, they're doing good works. They really have.
Kids
So
like to
good for
drink.
them.
The children like to drink sometimes.
No, but it's very
But they
difficult.
don't-
I mean,
they
you're
don't.
raised in that
Yeah,
bubble,
you
and
are.
you're waking up every day and you're reading the worst things about your father. And people are assailing you from all sides, and you really have no private life. And heaven forbid you bring a boy or a girl back with you. And, you know, it's
And
really
I
very
think
difficult.
like you
They
said,
wind up very normal.
You got to raise them to be unafraid, too, to go out into the public, too. Jackie Onassis always said that to her kids, supposedly. Take the train to Boston. Walk the streets. I used to see John Kennedy
to
Jr.
the
all the...
Ramrod.
Go to the... Well, John Kennedy Jr. never went to the Ramrod.
I love that.
I know. I was there.
Were you?
Well, Jackie Kennedy famously said that if you screw up your children, you're not a success in life. No matter what you achieve, if your kids are a mess, you're a mess.
That's
Wait a minute, but
you're a failure.
that also puts a lot on parents. I
Well-
think sometimes things just happen, and sometimes kids are going to do what they're going to do. And I think to a certain extent, you create an environment where they're raised, but after a while, you hope that they take what you've taught
After a while,
them.
they're gonna be who
They
they're gonna
can't-
be.
I don't think it's an example. I don't think you can look at any parent who has a child that's done wrong and said, you know what, it's their fault.
What are you talking, the bad seed theory
Yeah,
now?
I think that it happens, and sometimes it's not. sometimes it's not a direct reflection on the parent.
Well,
mostly
you
it
can have
is.
the same parents raising 5 kids, and 4 of them turn out good, and one of them is the bad
That's
seed.
because 5 is too many, and the parents can't take it anymore.
This is why I don't have any. Don't have them. My advice is don't have them.
Meanwhile, you've been on the Queen Mary for the last week or so.
I just got off a boat.
Wait just a second. We got a lot of stuff to catch you up on.
He is the Queen Mary.
That's right. I was on the Queen Mary, too, for a week.
We got so much stuff to catch you up on. We'll do it when we come back on Hot Topics right after this.
Educate me, Bryant.
Back on a Monday morning with more of Hot Topics on The View, and since you've been on the Queen Mary...
Yes, tell me what's happened.
Well,
I've been on a boat.
Oh, that's a ship.
I know, it's the most amazing ship, too.
Yeah.
Oh, we were in Texas. The Cunard ship's beautiful. It was stunning.
Yeah.
It was stunning. I felt like Cary Grant.
Aww.
And he wasn't gay.
All right, what you missed
that's
was...
not true. Betty White came on my other show and said that, he was
Come
gay.
on.
Yes.
I didn't want to... Yeah,
She said that.
So I don't know he was gay? Come on.
Well, maybe he was bisexual, Cary Grant.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
He was married many times, had many children.
But he lived with Randolph Scott.
But he lived with Randolph Scott, then they used to take pictures, like, in the kitchen with aprons. And, like, in those days...
And working out together, too.
In the photoplay...
And at the Ramrod. No, I'm kidding.
No. In Photoplay magazine and all these magazines of the time, they would have pictures of them being domestic goddesses in their own houses. And so I guess they were either gay and were saying okay to you.
Or they were British and just playing the usual thing.
Yeah, or they were not gay and just putting the press on, but you never know.
You do. Well, it's debatable.
Which gets me back to my point. You've been on a ship, you missed all the shakeup.
Yes,
Among other things,
what
there's
happened?
this big shakeup at American Idol, which I don't watch, but I guess
I watch it.
they've gotten rid of Ellen.
Yeah, well,
and they may get rid of
she quit.
Kara.
She resigned.
Ellen quit.
She quit. She said it was not the right fit for her. She was not happy
Right.
there.
She didn't like telling people they sucked.
And is Kara also out, the other one?
Kara was supposedly fired, right?
No, her contract was apparently not renewed. So it came as a shock to her, reports are saying, and they're going back to a 3-panel
And Jennifer Lopez is in?
That's what we heard, J-Lo.
that's what I heard.
And the only way Kara would get back in, reports are saying, is if J-Lo's contract doesn't work out. I mean, if you've got J-Lo, you're not going
back for Kara DeGuardia. Was that her name?
She's great.
I don't even. What's her
I thought
name?
Kara did a really good job.
No, but she said the word artist too much. Here's the thing. The artistry of your art is artsy, but your artsy art. It was like, all right. I thought she said was artist. But, you know, I thought she did a good job last year. I thought she stepped up, Kara. I really do.
I think you'd be a good judge on that.
I think I'd be a great replacement for Simon, but they'd never do it. But because you need someone that knows music, and I feel that I really do.
You do know
And
music.
you need someone pointed and that tells the truth and that can give them a little.
Do that?
I could do it. Yes, I could.
And also someone who's extremely modest.
Yeah, very modest. Yes, I am. Well, I'm so judgmental. You know, I can't help
You
it.
would do it. You know why you would do
I'm
it well, I think?
opinionated.
Because you would tell them the truth, but you would make it fun for them. And so it wouldn't be like a stab. Like with Simon, it's a stab.
It's brutal.
It does
It
pierce
was
a
brutal,
bit,
but I
but
think
it
he's
usually
going to
is
be
the
missed. I think that he really made that show, and I think he's going to be
The other
missed.
thing that you missed while you were on the boat,
What
you
happened?
heard about Snooki, right?
Why? Why is she Italian? Why?
Wait a second.
What is she?
She is Italian.
She is.
Time out. Time out.
Isn't her name Palazzi?
The girl is not Italian. She was a... Thank you.
What is she?
Let me tell you, okay?
Okay, I'm letting you tell it.
She is a Chilean girl. She was adopted by Italian parents. She is not Italian genetically.
Can they give her back?
Yeah, but
They love her. They love Snooki.
Why?
who's they?
Why?
Her
You know
parents.
what? I'm starting to be fond of Snooki myself.
You
because of
are?
that. Yes.
Oh, come on.
Wait a minute.
Do you know what's
Funny,
really
aren't she?
upsetting?
She was
Too
just
funny not to
arrested.
love. The
She
girl
was
walks
arrested.
around with a tumor on her head.
And handcuffs. And handcuffs.
I want to know
Come on.
this. Why can't they have a scripted comedy about Italian Americans on TV? But they won't do that. But they'll put these freaks on
I think
on
everybody loves
television.
Raymond. Wasn't that
No,
what that
it was not
No,
very
that was-
Italian.
They were
Come
Barone,
on.
but that was different.
Yeah,
it wasn't
but
just...
it really didn't deal with like the real Italian-American. I mean, the only ones that have done it is Sopranos, and they were gangsters.
Right.
I love the show, by the way. But
it's all stereotype is what you're saying.
Well, no, I don't know if it's stereotype. No. I just think I think the characteristics and the chemistry of the Italian family was definitely there, legal or not legal.
Even though you like her, don't you think they have moved past this being a reality show and she's just acting up to get more airtime?
It's horrifying.
She is the star of the thing, though.
I understand that, but it's no longer reality.
This is a problem, though. If she's committing crimes, if she's time and time again beating people up and getting into trouble and ending up in jail, does she then deserve the reward of this new contract? And does she then is she able to
her employers love that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if it's criminal, I can't believe that
I don't disagree with you, but that's the problem with the
publicity. Just ups the ratings of the show. It makes people want to watch Not Me. But she's walking around with a lump on her head going, I'm Snooki, and I'm a friggin' star.
Yeah.
I'm a star. You can't treat me like that. And what do you say to someone on a reality show? I think you're so much of a car crash? I mean, what do you say?
I think that people like that they're not that bright. I really do. So everybody feels, you know, one of the headlines you'll never see is Snooki found dead in library. You're never going to see that. So I think that that's part of the reason she's attractive to people.
Okay, speaking of train wrecks, you saw that Lindsay Lohan got out of the lockup.
Yes.
And she went directly into rehab just this morning.
She had to make room for Snooki, who's going in. So she
this is a tragic thing because she is actually a very talented actress, you know. She's because I've seen her in films, and I think
she was good in Mean Girls.
She was good in Georgia Rules. She's a very good actress.
That picture, she looks like the Village of the Damned.
Oh, she looks.
You know, with those kids with the weird eyes. She looks like
that. It's a shame that she's in this batch of craziness. She could have had a career.
Medical Center. Now, how long did she stay there? How long did she wind up staying in rehab?
She did 20 minutes to life, I believe.
Yeah.
She was there for like a week.
13 days.
Because it was overcrowded.
There's overcrowded. They expected this from the beginning, though. I mean, when she went in, though it could have been those minutes to life, they said because it's so packed in there, she'd at the most do 2 weeks, and they were right. 13 days.
And she has. Is this rehab she's going to now a real rehab?
No, it's a real rehab. It's UCLA Medical Center.
Okay,
but she's a kid now. She's still, what is she, 21 years old?
No, she's like 24.
24. She's got plenty of time to become a great actress and to recoup her image and everything.
Or go on Dancing with the Stars, because that's what Carrie Ann Inaba just asked for. She asked for...
Carrie Ann Inaba!
Yeah, she just asked that Lindsay, she thought it would be perfect for Lindsay to go on Dancing with the Stars.
Why?
It'd be good for her. She's, well, people go on all the time now to sort of reinvent.
What if she dances like Kate Gosselin?
I actually think she'd be a good dancer. Who wouldn't want to see her go through that?
Looked like she was on landmines, didn't she?
She was like, brutal.
She had a lot of children.
Okay, wait.
You dance after 8 kids.
Wait, to cap off our train wreck segment, we've got to get to Levi Johnston.
Oh, Levi.
I mean, this is a beauty. Now he's accused, denied by all parties, by the way, of knocking up his ex-girlfriend.
But she's vehemently denying
it. She's denied it. He's denied it. Everybody's denied it.
I don't think it's true. I don't
lawyer has said
it's... Why did the engagement get called off? Because this is what people are asking.
Still off.
Yeah, the engagement got called off because of the accusation.
She said, but he's not the... Well, most people have to take a blood test. These two have to take a DNA test. You know what I mean?
And his lawyer said he's willing to do that, by the way.
Yeah, and he's willing to take the DNA test. And she said, which I read, that if he were the dad, a baby daddy, then she would have been on Maury Povich's show. No, if he were the baby daddy, she would have said it early on. Yes. She's almost 9 months pregnant, and now it's going to come out.
That's exactly right. She said she wouldn't have waited until the baby was due to say, by the way, he's the dad.
So I don't think he is. So why is Bristol not marrying him?
Well, it's interesting because, well, you have to wonder if before these denials came out.
You know her, tell us.
I don't know her. All Republicans do not hang out together, and she may be an independent.
So what did she say? Tell us.
She said that she was not... I'm not sure why the engagement's called off. But you have to wonder why in this time it was called off. Is it too much drama around Levi? I mean, he's just trouble.
He's trouble. He's trouble for Sarah.
If you think we've talked about all the train wrecks, wait till you hear about Lawrence Fishburne's daughter. We'll do that when we come back right after. Okay, this one is unfortunately sad but true. Lawrence Fishburne has a 19-year-old daughter named Montana, and she has decided to kickstart her entertainment career by doing a porno.
Well, that's a good idea.
Well, you got to listen to her quote. She says, I've watched how successful Kim Kardashian became, and I think a lot of it was due to the release of her sex tape. I'm hoping the same magic will work for me. I'm impatient about getting well known, for what we don't know, and having more opportunities, and this seemed like a great way
getting well
to get
known
started.
for what? I mean, she's the daughter of a terrific actor. Why isn't she going on auditions and meeting casting people and trying to get in there as an actress?
Evidently, she wants to get faster start than that.
And she said she's hoping the same magic will work. The only magic is something fits into something else, and that's how the porn is done.
What about the personal aspect of this? I mean, I would think as a dad, this would be the most like pointed, aimed, I don't know, message to you as a father. So I wonder what his response has been to this as well, because he is a great guy. We've had.
But even if his response is no, you can't do it, he can't.
No, she's 19.
Really
she can do what she wants.
She's
Yeah, but
free
you
to
know
do
what?
whatever
I
she
don't think
wishes.
it's going to work because who's going to remember her face?
I don't know. I just think there's something. If she. I don't know. But it makes you think how many girls that age are thinking this. It makes you wonder.
There's a lot of problems with it, but you hit on something that maybe is a problem in logic, which is in the other cases the person was known and then did the tape. We're not suggesting that's the formula to follow, but to do the tape first and then hope to be known off of it seems kind of.
Paris Hilton, the same thing. We all knew what they looked like first. This girl needs to establish herself as a face before she shows her.
I think it's terrible. You wonder in the business itself how, like, why this person became a huge, legitimate movie star and why this person went into porn. It's like there's a fine. I'm just talking about anybody. There's beautiful women in porn and there's beautiful women that are movie stars. Why did it? Why does it happen? And sometimes one of them isn't more talented than the other one in this day and age.
I think sometimes it probably has to do with money aside. If you don't have a famous name, I think it might have to do with money. I mean, the porn industry, unfortunately, is a large money-making machine in this country. It pulls in tons and tons of cash, which means it pays out tons and tons of cash to its top stars, I'd assume.
You know what? If we did a sex tape, wow! It would be all right.
I'll do one with
I told you.
The birth control recently.
You know, the thing of it, that somewhere in the late 20th century, actresses had to start having sex on screen and taking off their clothes. Right. In the old days, it was like the waves crashed. We knew what they did.
Yeah, and it was over.
And it was over. Now we have to see the exact. Yeah. It's like every film almost is a porn. Diane Lane, one of my favorites. I love her. She does the most unbelievable sex scenes in movies.
In Unfaithful,
Can you imagine
Betty
Davis?
She was magnificent.
What would Betty Davis had said to that?
I will not show my breasts at all. I have been hacked from head to toe.
I mean, really, you know?
Thanks for the setup.
Katharine Hepburn. Imagine Katharine Hepburn.
Go ahead.
I won't show my breasts at all. I won't do it. I won't do it. I'll wear pants. Let me tell you, I looked like a lesbian before lesbians even knew what the look was.
Well, she was a lesbian.
Well, she wore pants.
She probably was gay.
I'll spread my legs, but I'll be wearing pants.
Okay, speaking of children, did you see the one about Diddy and his son?
Yeah.
Well, the story goes that Diddy, for his son's 16th birthday?
Yep.
16th birthday, gave him a Maybach, which is it's a top-of-the-line Mercedes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
It looks like a Chrysler. What is it?
No, it's
a Mercedes, Joy.
It looks like any other car.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you saw it from the side, it really does not. It's kind of a shortened limousine with curtains, and it's really quite
It's
quite
a beautiful car.
But anyway, he was asked by...
What country?
Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes. Oh, Germany.
He was asked by Martin Bashir about that, and Diddy said he thought it racist that he wouldn't have asked a white, wealthy person what he gave his son for a car.
Because it cost $360,000, the car.
Yes.
Let's put
but
that
I don't know if I think it's racist, but I think why ask him why he's spending this much money on his kid? He's got a lot of money. Why are people being criticized for how much money they're spending on their kids? Look, I would have liked when I drove my mother's rusty Malibu. You know, I mean,
people show their racism in a lot of ways, but I don't think this question is inherently racist.
But would he? I mean, it does raise the question. I mean, would he, and has he asked that question of other people? I mean, there are tons of people I'm sure he's interviewed that have spent money on their kids. Has he asked them that question?
What other person has done this, though? Something like this? I don't remember seeing it. I mean, the Clintons have just been criticized for spending a lot of money on their daughter's wedding. We're in a recession. People are hungry and unhappy and out of work, and it's tacky. Let's face it, it's tacky.
What's tacky?
Asking people about money.
No.
Asking them how they spend their money.
That's not what I mean. Conspicuous consumption is tacky.
Why?
Because people are suffering right now. That's why.
So, okay, what is the line then? Is it buying a steak at a restaurant? Is that conspicuous consumption? Where do you draw the line?
Am I allowed to have caviar every night?
No. You can do what you want.
Because I'd like that.
You can do what you want, but flaunting that kind of wealth I think it's obnoxious.
But what Liz was asking is, what point does it become flaunting? If you go to Maria or Del Posto, is that flaunting it?
No, you're having dinner. It's fine.
I love Maria and Del Posto.
I don't know what that is.
Two great restaurants.
Listen, when I'm in the Hamptons, I see houses that are the size bigger than this studio. People have bowling alleys. They've got squash courts.
The president has a bowling alley in his house?
He's the president. That's the White House. Come on, let's be clear.
I'm just saying, Joy, this is a very blurry line, it seems.
During a period in history when we should be worried about other people and not just consuming. Look, call me a commie. I don't care.
Everybody's guilty of it. Then should we not be doing things that are fun? Should we not be buying an accessory?
You should enjoy your life. I'm not saying that.
Send your kids to the school you can send them to?
Of course you should.
There's a way to do both. Some of the biggest money makers in this country.
Sense or not? Because I'm talking about humongous conspicuous consumption. I am not talking about enjoying your life and enjoying what money you have.
Where do you draw the line then?
But what becomes conspicuous consumption? If your daughter's wedding is the big event in your life and you want to spend 90% of your money on it, why is that conspicuous consumption?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't spend 90% of my money on my daughter's wedding, but I would give her a good wedding. But then again, I don't want a daughter. But
Speaking of weddings, can I just say one thing? There might be one coming up that's going to cost a bunch of money. The Bachelorette finale is on tonight, and her wedding is going to be conspicuous consumption.
Awesome! I'll be watching.
We're going to come right back. We got more ahead on Hot Topics right after this. We left talking about conspicuous consumption. You've got a post.
I just want to make a point that, the Clinton wedding and weddings in general do put a lot of Americans to work. And I think that then probably a few illegal immigrants. But I do believe that that's different from just buying a car from Germany for almost $400,000. And I don't know if it's racist or not racist. I don't care if he's black or white. That is, I don't think, helping the economy here.
So do you ever drive a car that's not made in the country or buy a car? I mean, where are we now? I mean, I completely believe, too, that it is the right thing to buy from this country when you can.
You should.
I also think, money does play into that as well.
This is a $400,000 car from Mercedes.
P. Diddy can do it. It's his son. Maybe he wants to give his son something.
$5,000, $10,000. I mean, it's not all over under one umbrella.
P. Diddy, who also creates a lot of jobs in this country. I mean, he's an empire of jobs himself. He puts a lot of people in work. I think he's got, I don't know how many businesses he's running. I think he certainly has a right to make that choice for his kid. And
let's move on.
Diddy, you don't care about Diddy.
I love Diddy. I just think you should be able to spend your money.
This really is the quote of the week, I think. Did you see the cover of Vanity Fair, the one coming out with Lady Gaga?
Oh, there she is.
Okay. Lady Gaga,
a little Italian girl. Lady Gaga.
She's really Italian.
She's Italian. Yeah. Gaga. I had a cousin named Gugu. Lady Gugu.
Go ahead. This really is, in my opinion, the quote of the week. They were asking her about her love life.
Yes.
And she was saying she doesn't like to have sex at certain times because she says, her words, I have this weird thing that if I sleep with someone, they're going to take my creativity through my vagina.
I feel that way all the time. I can understand it. They're gonna. That is so. But how could? I don't. It's not like. What? Is she using a vacuum? I don't understand.
I guess she's saying she can't release herself. She can't just let everything go because she wants to let everything go on stage, and she can't let it go with Bob.
Much like an athlete. Yes. I mean, many athletes spend the night before a game at a hotel. They're away from any woman.
Yeah, drinking.
Hey, that's not true. That's not true.
No, that's right. I forgot your husband.
That's
no,
right.
not your husband.
No. But they do say that it does sort of contain that energy for the proper use on field or stage.
And I think that's what she meant. No?
Well, if she just has sex with herself, then, then she can still learn to play the piano,
both,
right?
She can do both.
She'd rather blow bubbles with her vagina. That's perfect for a show.
And you know what? All of this, we didn't even get to the guy, William Breeze.
Oh!
The guy in Colorado, it's a great job.
Great. He writes, he's a critic for marijuana, for medical marijuana. Yes. His name is William Breeze. William breathes in deeply and holds it for about 10 seconds.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're with one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Teresa Giudice is back with us right after this. Yeah.
Teresa, before you moved into the mansion.
Bitch? I live in a $5 million home now.
And it's in foreclosure.
Danielle said my house was going into foreclosure. It's none of her business what's going on in my life. I was trying to be nice, and Danielle started.
Different house. Stop. You don't go wrong. My house not in foreclosure, bitch.
Well, anyone who watches The Real Housewives of New Jersey knows Teresa Giudice never had a problem spending money on everything from lavish homes to plastic surgery until now. Turns out her family is $11 million in debt, and she said she had no idea. Could that really be? We're going to ask her. Please welcome Teresa Giudice. Welcome, Teresa. We were talking about, excessive spending and consumption on your show. We've seen you spend, thousands and thousands of dollars on your wardrobe, on your home, et cetera. And then come to find out, this past October, you and your husband, Joe, filed for bankruptcy, and you're $11 million in debt. But you had no idea?
Well, no, because there's two reasons why we filed. The first reason is that we own apartment buildings, and due to the economy, people lost their jobs, and then they couldn't pay their rent. By them not being able to pay their rent, we weren't able to make our mortgage payments.
Okay.
So that's the first reason.
Sure. Is your husband a slumlord?
A slumlord?
Yeah, like, those kinds of tenement buildings where the people are poor. So you hit a recession, he can't collect his money because they don't have any money.
We own 4 huge apartment buildings.
Where?
East Orange.
In East Orange, New Jersey?
Yes.
And people weren't paying their rent?
Well, due to the economy, people lost their jobs, and they couldn't make their...
Your husband's partner said it wasn't just that he was collecting the rent, but that he wasn't even paying the utility bills, that he let the buildings fall into disrepair.
My husband's partner just put the money up front to buy 1 or 2 buildings. That's it. He just put a quarter of the money up front. Then he was supposed to step up to the plate. My husband re-renovated these buildings. He put his blood, sweat, and tears into these buildings.
Okay, but
I saw that.
The absence of rent money doesn't explain, what is it, $11 million in debt?
$11 million.
Well, it's all in the buildings.
Does he turn to you at all and say, well,
million?
you've been... What about your spending?
You can't always believe everything you read. It's not 11 million. Like,
okay,
they exaggerate.
What is the number?
I don't really know the number. You would have to ask my lawyer.
She doesn't know.
No, I
9 million.
Does he?
Do I hear 10 million?
Let's get to some issues. Teresa, let me ask you this, though. Does your husband turn to you then and say, obviously, a lot of it does fall on the business that he's created. Does he look at you and say, well, if you didn't go and spend $5,000 on shoes?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I always live within my means. Good. Always. And the second reason is my husband is in a lawsuit with his ex-partner regarding properties.
Okay, so we're not going to go there.
So
how could you live within your means if you're now $11 million in bankruptcy? I don't get that.
Well, now I'm living. Now you are. I've always, because the money was coming in from the apartment buildings, so we were able to live the lifestyle that we live. And everyone thinks I live this, excessive lifestyle. It's not like I'm jet setting from place to place.
Are you
I don't have gold toilets.
Are you personally?
No, but you were building it was a 10,000 square foot home.
Right, we added on to our home.
Are you watching your money now? Are you personally watching what you spend now?
Of course I do. I use a debit card. I don't use my credit cards.
Okay.
So of course I am.
And he filed for bankruptcy, and then your husband told you? He told you as he was filing?
Well, yes. Well,
were you upset with him? Did you feel betrayed?
No, not at all. If anything, it's brought us
Were you
closer.
like my mother? You son of a bitch! And tipping a table? Is that how you auditioned for the Real Housewives? You put a few tables and went, you son of a bitch! And you see who tips the table the best?
From what I've seen of the show, too, I do have to say, like, I don't want to paint you as a villain because you do take really good care of the kids, and you've got 4 girls, and you know, you spend a ton of time with them.
I mean, Joe didn't want to worry me. He
that.
wasn't telling me at first. He thought things were going to get better.
So he didn't
then,
want to
as soon as, you know, when it wasn't getting better, he did tell me. I mean, my job is I take care of, you know, I take care of the family. I cook for my kids every day. You know, they think that all I do is shop all day. No, I take care of my 4 beautiful daughters. I take care of the home. I don't have a nanny. I don't have a cook. I do everything myself.
The house that we saw on the tape that you were saying it's in foreclosure? Danielle was saying it's in foreclosure. You're saying it's not. What is it?
No, my house has never been under foreclosure, and it's
Why
not
are there so
under
many
foreclosure
reports
right
that
now.
says it's in foreclosure?
Regarding the buildings.
Okay, the buildings are under foreclosure.
Tenements in East
What about
investment
What about
properties?
the reports that are out there saying that there's going to be an auction at the end of the month to help of all of your belongings to help you pay off and down
My lawyer,
the debt?
Jim Kreidel, has filed an objection. And, you know, so he's handling that situation. I mean, as long as I have my husband, my family, health, God's in my corner, that's all I could ask for.
What about this ring? Is this real?
No. Do I hear 20 million? Do I hear 20? 20. 20. Do I hear 40?
It's not real? Oh, it's fake.
Here's the thing.
I love costume jewelry. I sell it on my website. I love it.
Here's the thing. I mean, it can't be easy to sit here and all of us are assailing you about this thing. But I mean, is there any part of you that now regrets the decision to say, yeah, I'll go on this show. I'll do Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Of course, I'm scrutinized because I am on the show.
No, I didn't mean this one. I meant the Bravo show, Real
Yes,
Do you regret the decision?
No, I know that. Of course, I'm scrutinized. Yes, because I mean, it's costing us major money in lawyer fees because I'm on the show. So everything, like my lawyer's saying, this is like you know, everything's taking longer because I'm on TV.
Why is the TV show costing you more? What's the difference?
Oh, because
they're still not paying their rent.
My husband's ex-partner calls the trustee every single day and like saying, oh, you don't, you know, it's like a lot of people. There's a lot of haters out there, which, you know what, it's sad because me and my husband don't deserve it. We're very good people. And, you know, it's...
When you put your life out there publicly, like that's the risk you take, and you know,
take notes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm Snooki, you son of a bitch.
I know that you have. Well, I just want to let everybody know you are bringing in some extra cash too because you've got a book called Skinny Italian. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list for a while now, so that's good. That's a good way to bring some money in and something you can speak to.
And I'm working on a second book.
And you may be on Dancing with the Stars.
I can't comment on that, but I would love to.
The entire world is on Dancing with the Stars.
I think we should go on Dancing with the Stars and then have a yard sale, and everything will be okay.
Teresa, we want to wish you luck. We thank you for coming here. Take care of those cute girls. Our thanks to Teresa Giudice, The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Airs tonight on Bravo. We'll be right back.
Teresa was thrilled to get away from us, do you?
She's got some stuff to take care of.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awful lot. What?
She'll come through, I think, because I have no idea what's going to happen. I've never watched the show. I don't care. I
have watched it. It's very entertaining, but I'm sure there's a part of her now, a big part, that regrets ever saying I do to something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
See, a lot of these shows, to get back to the point I made before, is conspicuous consumption, and people like to see them go down.
Absolutely.
That is the Schadenfreude, they call that. Look it up.
Before we get away, I know you want to do this. What do you want to do?
I'm going to be going back home to Boston October 2nd, playing the Wilbur Theater, so please come see me.
So our thanks to Mario for co-hosting today. Have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy the view.
Thank you, Brian.